Hey everybody, welcome back to When Harry Met Board Games. Today we're going to be unboxing a new game here. We're going to be unboxing Age of Heroes. This is designed by Rodney Thompson of Lords of Waterdeep fame and published by WizKids. This is a Marvel themed, in particular, an X-Men themed board game. As a matter of fact, that I am aware of, this is the only Euro game with a Marvel theme. Most Marvel themes tend to not lend themselves to Eurogame mechanisms. So I'm very curious as to seeing how this game plays. But for today, we're simply going to peel back the shrink and see what's inside this box. Alrighty. So let's lift up this box cover here. Alright, so of course we've got the rule book here. Introduction and objective, and let's see how the rulebook looks. Looks pretty nice and colorful. Lots of diagrams to show you, I guess, different examples and such. Let's see how big this rulebook is. I guess it's 20 pages from front to back. Here we have some summaries of the different phases in a round, I gather. And for anybody who's familiar with Lords of Waterdeep, I figure from what I've seen so far that it won't be too much to pick up this game. It's not exactly a direct re-implementation of the game, but from what I've seen, it's very similar. So we do have the rule book here. We have these acrylic standees here. This is probably the nicest component in this game. They could have gone with paper or cardboard, I should say, but they did these. I'm kind of nervous to punch these out. Oh, okay. There's a layer of plastic on one side here, or both sides actually. Huh. All right, folks, so learn from my mistake and make sure to remove the plastic shrink from this before you start punching them out. But as I mentioned, this is a nice component. They could have gone for a cheaper alternative with cardboard, but I appreciate the detail to excellence, or the commitment to excellence, and it's really cool. So this here, each character actually has multiple standees, and the reason why is because this is a worker placement game, just like Lords of Waterdeep, and depending on the team of heroes you select, there are different teams of 2, you're gonna have multiple workers in different configurations across the different characters. So for example, I believe Wolverine and Jubilee are a team, and if you have Wolverine and Jubilee, you'll have 4 Wolverine workers and 2 Jubilee workers. And again, they could have gone so many different routes with cardboard standees or other wooden pieces with stickers and such, but they went this route, and I appreciate that. So yeah, once you take the shrink wrap off, they punch out a lot easier. And as you can see, they have a lot of our favorite X-Men characters here, or I should say my favorite X-Men. We have Cyclops, and of course we have Jean Grey, not in her Phoenix iteration, but here as Marvel Girl, her original, well, one of her earlier uniforms. We have Forge, we have Storm, we have Rogue, we have Gambit, we have Magic here, and we have Kitty Pryde. We have Lockheed, of course. And yeah, so that is really, really cool. All right, and then there's a couple other tokens and such. A few of them fell out as I was punching out things, but I guess they represent different types of cubes. Just like Lords of Waterdeep, you will be collecting a different assortment of colored cubes. Okay. And that's that. Now, let's see what's next here. We have a bunch of cardboard stuff to punch out. And this clearly does have some shrink wrap that needs to be removed. Alrighty here. So, here we have a bunch of the villains. So the villains that we fight throughout the course of this game, because although it's a competitive game, players are not fighting each other. They are fighting different villains and main masterminds and such. We have Avalanche. And these are all modular. They're going to have, I guess, these type of things here combined with them. So I guess a villain can vary from game to game as to the requirements that you will need to deal them damage. I guess this here represents the cubes that assign the different damage. So that's really cool. It also has a when defeated condition here. Apparently all of them do. You've got Pyro here. Okay. Who else we have? We have Blob and Toad. So basically some of the typical members of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, including Toad, who was one of the original Brotherhood members, along with Magneto back in the day. And again, here this like modular tile that you combine with a villain. Okay, so and we have a ton of villains here. Here we have Sabretooth, one of my favorites, villain, Wolverine's old rival. We have Mesmero here. We have Sauron from the Savage Land. And you can see that they have this subtitle here, minor enemy. So I guess that distinguishes them from the main bosses in the game, who are really your big bads. Here we have Lady Deathstrike. All right, another rival of Wolverine. And again, a few of these modular tiles. Okay, here we have Juggernaut. And we see here that he is a challenging enemy. So I guess he's not quite a boss or a big bad, but he's not a minor enemy either, as is Omega Red over here. Yet another classic rival to Wolverine. We see Mystique here. Okay. The ever so popular, controversial, polarizing Mystique. And of course, the Sentinels. Okay. Classic X-Men enemy here. All right. We move on to, well, let me punch out this last modular here. And here we have the final test. So I guess here are some of the bad guys that will be the boss of the particular scenarios you encounter. We've got the Silver Samurai. We also have the Shadow King here. Storm's old nemesis. Also Professor X as well. Who Professor X is not a playable character in this game, but I'm sure he's represented in some other feature of the game. We have Master Mold here. Okay. And we have Mr. Sinister. Okay. And again, a few more of these modulars. Then we have, okay, so we have these acolytes here. They're probably Magneto scenario. Yeah, I believe the acolytes or Magneto. And then you have here the beginning of these player boards. So as I mentioned earlier, Jubilee and Wolverine are in a team. And I guess these punch out. I guess these slots are reserved for your cubes. And I think instead of actually gathering a big amount of cubes, this game doesn't come with as many cubes as Lords of Waterdeep had. I guess what you get is you get one particular cube and you advance it or decrease it on this track according to how many cubes you've gained, which is an efficient way of going about things. I mean, sometimes those cubes can get in the way and there might be too much to keep up with from a physical perspective. So, okay, cool. So this is Jubilee and Wolverine. And as I mentioned, each team has a different configuration of how many workers are assigned to each individual character. So with Wolverine and Jubilee, you are going to have 4 Wolverine workers and only 2 Jubilee workers. Okay, so here we have some more acolytes. Okay. Okay, we have Exodus and Frenzy and Suvix and Yaka. And we have another player board here. This is for Jean Grey and Cyclops, of course. They would be teamed up together, although I imagine Wolverine would have something to say about this. And yeah, so again, you got these little areas here to keep track of their cubes. Here, they're split right down the middle, 50-50. And there's like these slots here for different actions, perhaps. I think there's actions that you can play. Each team has like particular cards for each of their heroes, and depending on what slot you put them on will determine how much you have to pay for them. But now here, yep, we have Lord Magneto here as the villain here, along with his lieutenants, Colossus and Fabian Cortez. Right? Okay. And another player board here, which is Gambit and Rogue. And they too are evenly distributed 3 and 3. Punch this out over here. Okay. And then here we have Magneto. And I just noticed here that not only does this indicate a villain, but it indicates, I guess, a particular scenario. This is probably the Fatal Attractions scenario, named after the popular comic book storyline here. And here we have some horsemen. We have the Horseman Death and the Horseman War. That tells me that Apocalypse will be here. I actually just got a little peek at him. Here we have Kitty Pryde and Lockheed. So this is an interesting team combination. We got 5 Kitty Pryde to the 1 Lockheed worker here. And again, these little slots for the cubes. All right. Some more villains here. Pestilence, the Horseman, and Famine. And of course, Apocalypse himself. And he's for the Fall of the Mutants scenario. Okay. And here we've got the board for Magic. And Magic is all by herself. So all 6 workers will be Magic here. And that's, I guess, how self-sufficient she is. It would have been cool to see her paired up with her brother Colossus, but I guess he's only represented in this game in the form of an acolyte. Okay, so we've got that. And then here we've got En-Sabah-Nur, the Lord of Clan Aqaba and the father of Araki. So different iterations of Apocalypse himself. Okay. And this is all part of the Fall of the Mutants scenario. And finally, I believe the last team represented in this game is Storm with her original love interest, which was Forge. And yeah, so they are split with 4 Storm pieces and 2 Forge pieces. Okay. And then the final sheet of cardboard is just a bunch of an assortment of different tokens representing different things here. They punch out just fine. Okay. And they're double-sided. Some of these colored cubes have a single side and a 3 side. Okay. And that's it as far as the tokens go. Let's see what else we have. I kind of looked through this earlier, and we have some of these here. Not sure what they represent. I believe that there's some sort of element of recruiting additional students. Every player board has this spot here for student pawns, and basically they're like, I guess they're like inferior workers, not quite like Wolverine and Jubilee, or the main workers associated with each player board. Not sure what they do. I have not played this game, read the rule book, or thoroughly watched any videos on it. We've got these little circular pieces here, and these pentagonal pieces here. And then we have cards. We have obviously the plastic standees here. And then we have two sets of cards. We have these larger standard size cards and these smaller cards. Let's see what they have here. I already see that there's some additional characters represented in the form of cards, which is great. Perhaps some of the lesser popular characters. We have Banshee here. I've always actually been a pretty big fan of Banshee. We've got Beast. So these cards are classified as allies, so I'm sure they're helpful in different ways. We've got Dazzler, Cecilia Reyes, Emma Frost, Iceman. I'm not a huge fan of the artwork here. I feel like it could have been done better. They don't stand out enough, right? Moira McTaggart. We've got Nightcrawler. There's a whole lot of text there. We've got Sage. We've got Anole. We've got Chamber. We've got Cypher. We've got Husk. We've got Mondo. We've got Pixie, Skin, the Stepford Cuckoos, Sync. We have Cannonball. I like Cannonball. We've got Megan. Oh, we've got some Excalibur characters here. Multiple Man. There should have been multiple cards of his, but I guess he's represented by multiple of these student pawns here. Rachel Summers, Polaris. We've got Quicksilver. We've got Richter, Siren, the daughter of Banshee. We've got Strong Guy, Sunspot, Wolfsbane, Professor X. That's my guy. I know he's polarizing, but all new X-Men. Okay, so we've got Angel, Bishop. So there's like different color codes. So these were the green cards. Here are the blue cards. Colossus, Psylocke, Sunfire, Armor, Dust, Ink, Karma, Team Up, Generation X. We have Magma, Boom Boom, Cable, one of my favorites. Captain Britain, also from Excalibur, the brother of Psylocke here. We've got Domino, okay. Feral. We've got Havoc, Shatterstar, Warpath, Mirage, Rockslide. Okay, now we move on to a different color of cards. I wonder, these look like they're some type of hazards or events. We have Extra Effort, the Fastball Special with Colossus throwing or flinging Wolverine here. Found Family here. We've got Guardian here, or Gladiator, I should say. And the artwork. We have Mission Prep, Secondary Mutation, Show of Force, Team Building Exercise, Unlikely Allies, Tactical Adjustment, Advanced Classes, Show of Force, Graduation Day, Training Exercise, Holiday Break, Clash with the Acolytes, Reinforce the Mission, Small Victories, Shifting Loyalties, Graduation Day, Training Exercise, Holiday Break, another Clash with the Acolytes. Then we have these cards here. Fall of the Mutants. I guess these are cards that explain the different scenarios. Here we have Fall of the Mutants. Here we have Children of the Atom. And here we have Fatal Attractions. It seems that these are the three possible scenarios. I don't gather that this game will have any expansions. This game's been out for a bit now. Well over a year. I'd say probably 2 years at this point. And I don't think it's done very well. And I'm not sure it's going to get any expansions, which is too bad because I usually like it when Marvel-themed games get expansions, but that's fine for now. So those were the larger cards. Now let's just peruse through the smaller cards here and see what they have. So again, these seem to be, if you look at the bottom lower left-hand corner, we have a name of an X-Men character, and it's always one of the main characters here. So I believe these are like different action cards that players can assign to their different slots on their board. And it looks like towards the left, the earlier action cards they assign will be for free to activate, I guess. And then the latter ones, they would have to pay some cubes in order to activate them. So we have that. We also have this printed text recommended. So I guess there's some sort of selection process, and they recommend which ones, I guess, are more optimal for the player. So we have Cyclops, Optic Blast, Veteran Warrior, Field Leader, Unleash Potential, Telepathic Bond, Jean Grey, right? Psychic Rapport, her telepathy, her telekinesis, Slim and Red, okay, from the Time Traveling Story. Steel Strength, this is a rogue card, Powerhouse, Flight, Power Absorption, Absorb Memories. And then we have Gambit. First we charge the card, then we blow it up. Okay, that's cool. Cunning, Ace Up Your Sleeve, Thiever's Guild. We have Wolverine, Adamantium Claws, Berserker Fury. We have Healing Factor, Weapon X Program, Mysterious Pass, Best There Is, Jubilee, Better Together, Fireworks, Look for Trouble, Generation X. And even though she's not represented by many workers in this game, they still give her a decent amount of special cards here. We've got Kitty Pryde with Phasing, Heart of the Team, Strong Bonds, Shadowcat, Pride of the X-Men, Welcoming Committee. We have Lockheed here with Diminutive, with Loyal Companion, with Flight, and with Mascot, and Magic here with Infernal Aptitude, and Infernal Mastery, and Infernal Power, and Rasputin Heritage, Sorcery, Magic Runes, Stepping Disc, and then we have Soul Sword, of course, Eldritch Armor, sorry about that, and the Dark Child. Then we have Storm with Weather Control, Team Leader, Goddess, Loyalty, Patient Teacher, Flight, and we have Forge with Quartermaster, Workshop, Support Staff, and Tech Support. And that's it. There is nothing else in this game. Oh, sorry about that. I forgot about the main board. The main board, sorry, it was all the way at the bottom. But we will showcase this a bit here. And it's not the prettiest board. I am not a huge fan of the design here, but we have these spots for Medical Bay, for Cerebro, for Danger Room. I guess the different areas in Professor X's mansion, the dormitories and such. And I think cards are going to be placed in these areas. There's like slots for the cards. And as the game progresses, they will give you the benefits of the cards that are placed there. We also have a track on the bottom. That might be the victory point track. This is, after all, a Euro-style game where I believe the winner will be the person with the most points at the end of the game. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here at When Harry Met Board Games. Please comment down below. Tell me if you've played Age of Heroes. Tell me what you think about the components. I'm interested in reading what you guys have to say. This is Harry saying take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have fun gaming. Bye-bye.